What's up, everybody? I'm about to show you guys a cool, creative way I took someone's concept that they wanted done and made it more advanced, took it to the next level, made the photo a little more interesting, but tried to keep it real too at the same time, you know what I'm saying? Just keeping it real. Alright, let's jump into it. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to take this image and make it a million times better. Skirt! Alright, so I recently had someone request if I could add their favorite beer in a photo of them, like them holding it. Well, I went and looked at the photos they had, and I started to get ideas. I ran across this photo and my mind started going crazy. I was like, I want to make that building a beer, I want to make this building a beer, I wanted to make everything a beer. So so I was like, okay, I knew I wasn't gonna, I was thinking about like having a bunch of beers in the background as buildings when I first had that. And so I brought this photo into Photoshop here to show you guys exactly the process I went through and what I ended up doing. But I'm gonna start from scratch. I'm gonna redo exactly what I did, but start from scriggity scratch. Okay, so not only did I give her a beer, I replaced this cone right here with a beer. I just got creative. As I went through with the process, I started finding out that the beer company that she wanted had multiple skirt. And as I was going through the process of just editing this, I started with the cone beer because I was like, oh, that would look good as a beer. I started learning about this brand that she asked me to put in here. And I learned that they had vehicles. I learned they had a water tower. I heard they had multiple photos of different kinds of vehicles too that had like been wrapped with their brand. And I was like, awesome, this is awesome. Okay, so one thing to note when you go into doing something like this, you want to see which direction the sun is coming from. The sun's obviously coming from the left side. Everything has a glare on it, boom, boom, boom. So when you're looking for photos, maybe look for that. And not just maybe look for that, you want to definitely look for that. But if you can't find anything, sometimes you have to compromise and create your own highlights and redirect the shadows, which sometimes works, sometimes it doesn't. So luckily I was able to find a bunch of photos with a very similar angle to her. So let's get started in this process. So the first thing I did was replace this cone with a beer. I was like, I used this as a coaster. At first I wasn't going to use it as a coaster. I was like, yeah, I should use that as a coaster. So I did. So let's start with that. Boom. So I have this photo, and see, since I've already done it, I have all the photos that I need in one little spot. It's nifty. Because I like to save all my photos to the exact project that I was working on, so that if I ever need to edit anything or need to find that file again, I know exactly where it's at. Organization is key. So what we're going to do is kind of just get the perspective tidbit right. Boom. And one way to get the perspective right is taking this opacity and cutting it in half. Then you can zoom in, zoom down. Needs to rotate a little more. Okay, so we're gonna pop it in place, just like that. Boom. And then what we'll do is we'll bring that opacity back up, and we will select around the thing. You could either use the wand or the pen tool. I'm gonna use the wand for this one just because it's got refined edges, even though it is kind of pixelated, so it might make the wand not work as well. Yeah, screw that. We're gonna use the pen tool. Or let's try this. Deselect, select subject. See what that does. Wow, that did a pretty darn good job. Okay, so now all we have to do is hold Alt so that it has a negative selection on the wand tool, meaning it subtracts instead of adds to the selection. If you let go of Alt, it'll automatically, anything you try to select will add to it. So now I won't hold it, so I can add to it. And then right here, I'll hold it, so I'll subtract from it. Simple as peasy. Peasy as simple. Easy as peasy, simple as pie. Easy peasy, simple as pie. Wow. See if this one has a glare on it? Don't worry about that. It's no big deal. No one will notice. No one will notice. Especially since it's obviously not a real thing. But let's try to make it look like it fits as much as possible. We'll just erase that. We'll let that go past on the reflection. And once we get it on there, I'll just blend erase it so it's not like a perfectly refined edge. Defined. That's good enough. Okay. And we'll add a mask on it. Skirt. Beautiful. Since this image isn't perfectly... Since the base image, the background image, kind of is pixelated, we could use that to our advantage a little bit. But not have to worrying about too much about exact selections. I want to get some perspectives right. And what we're going to do is we're going to hold Control, click this corner, squish it in a little bit, take this corner, squish it in just a little bit, just because it's kind of big. Give it a little bit of that warp, that low angle. The bigger the object, the harder they fall. You know what I'm saying? But what I mean, the bigger the object, the more they need skewed. See how much that one needs skewed? It's like... At the lower angle, of course, if it has the lower angle like that. We're going to throw that one in there like that. What's so cool about this one is the sun and the highlights are so perfect with everything, because it's just like, it looks like it belongs right there because the lighting is exactly what it needs to do. It's what it need to do. I don't know what's up with this weird bottom part right here, though. All right, that's good. All right, so the next thing I did was replace this vehicle back here with the mystery machine. Boom, it's even almost the right size. Oh, and one thing you need to do when you're making these objects, something I did last, was you got to add them. See how this is slightly more blurred than everything that's in focus? You got to put that out of focus by putting a Gaussian blur on it. We'll put Gaussian blurs on everything after I get everything in. That's like really blurred. Less blurred than that. Less blurred than that. That's my birthday. March 26th. Opening day. Did that get changed? I bet it did. See, we're holding we're holding Control on one point so that we can make this fit more in the scene. And now we want to use the opacity, see if we're getting the right perspective and the right size. See the line right here? And that's where the line of that one is. It's a little bigger, so that means this one needs to be a little bigger because they're roughly around the same type of size of vehicle. I mean, am I right? I'd say so. A little bigger. Line that tire up. And the tires don't need to line up both sides because obviously different vehicles have different space between them. But if you look at this vehicle, this one in real life probably would be bigger than that one. So we probably want to keep the space at least the same or bigger. So that one needs to line with that. That one needs to line and this one needs to line. There you go, Andy. Then we're going to pull the opacity out. And we're going to select that mystery machine. Hit W on the keyboard. Let's try to select. Whoa. Control D to unselect. This select subject button's been working good for me lately. See what it do. Okay, so it selects a lot of it, so it takes out at least some of the work for me. I'm gonna start using that select subject button more. And now since this one's freaking really small, those little small details don't matter much. Like that right there. That does though. since it's really small, and also coupled with the fact that it is really low res. Low res meaning less pixels per square inch. Skirt. I don't even need to select that. It's behind the model. And then we hit this layer mask button down here. That way it's non-destructive, meaning that we can edit it, we can add to the mask, take away from the mask by choosing painting black or white on the mask. And when you paint on the mask, it will add to the mask or take away from the mask, but you can switch to exactly editing the exact image. That needs to be behind the bottle. One step closer to the edge, and I'm about to break. That's how he does it. Break. Okay, so this one is a Hummer. We got a Hummer here. We got a Hummer here. Or is that a Jeep? I don't know. Same thing, right? Ooh, probably just pissed a bunch of people off, right, boy? Just kidding. See this street line right here? I'm trying to line it with this street line. That's the first thing I'm focusing on right now, is lining up that line, because it's important. Then we're going to take that opacity down. Bring it up some. See how that line is lined up? That is good. You want that. Skirt. I did not mean to do that. Interesting. This truck is obviously bigger than that one. Or that car. And it's a little more skewed for some reason. So we're going to hit control and we're going to skew that fucker. Boom. And that should be good right there, dude. Needs to be a little bigger though, because it's a Hummer. Bring that opacity up. Select subject. That was a good job. Good job, Photoshop. Who's a good Photoshop? Take out that. And now, again, since it's really freaking small, it doesn't need to be perfect. We're going to add that tire back in, though, because it freaking needs to be. It's essential. Ooh, look at me. I'm essential. Alright, so now we're going to add that layer mask again button over here. Wow. Freaking amazing. Pop. Pop. Put that behind. Oh, one thing I forgot to do at the beginning. We're going to... First thing I did, actually, when I first did this, was I cut her out. I cut her out, because she needs to be in front of pretty much everything. At least these two objects. So, we're going to do that. Select subject. This select subject tool, dude, I'm having fun with. And since she still will be in the background, in the pixels right here, I would try to capture those hairs if the pixels were just so... If this pic was a higher resolution image, it just isn't, though. Okay, so maybe I should have... I remember I had struggles with this. For some reason, I had struggles selecting it the first time. And I remember maybe I was thinking maybe I should use the pen tool for selecting her, because it just sucks. the pen tool would be way more accurate for some reason. Because it's low res, the Photoshop can't work as good because it has less information to work with. So it gets confused and leaves these little freaking weirdo things. So I'm going to take a little time here, refining these edges. Oh, just peachy. I'm not gonna worry too much because this is just a freaking tutorial. I already did this once. You guys get the gist. But I will get most of it right, at least. I'll show the image, the complete one, the first one, when I get done. Which is funny because this one might be better because it's just the second run. I don't know, maybe the same. Whoa, what you doing there, mouse? Add to it, add to it, add to it. Deselect, subtract from it, subtract from it, subtract from it. Now here's the thing. Hold down Alt and your right clicker. And then hold down both of them. Or actually, hold on. Yeah. Hold down Alt and your right clicker. And you can pick the size of your brush. Of your tool. Subtract from it. Remember to hold down that Alt if you haven't been. Alright, that's good enough. Alright, select layer. And see, this one, we don't want to select layer mask. We want to make it its own copy. So right click, layer via copy. So now it is also isolated, but it's also still there when I take it away. That way, this one will fit on top of all these freaking layers. So when I bring it back to life, those ones obviously weren't affected by it, but this one was. All right. So this car obviously is lit up on this side and nothing is really lit up on this side. So we need to dim those colors down. I mean, you can even tell by that, looking at that one as a reference. It's not a bright red. It's darkered. I don't even know. But it does have a highlight right here, so we may have to add that in there. So one way to do that is adding a layer adjustment for curves. A curves adjustment layer. And then you want to make sure it's a clipping mask so that it's only affecting this layer. You don't want it to affect everything, just this. So you got to make sure that layer mask or that layer adjustment is on that. You want to hold down the Alt button and hit Auto. You want to find dark and light colors. And we're going to find the dark and light colors from her. Her darkest color, the shadows, somewhere in here, right? Oh, I messed up. How do I make that? I forget how I did that. Cancel. How did I do that? It's selecting the white. Oh, it's selecting over here. Oh, it's because I had that selected. You want to make sure you have this selected. I forgot. So hold Alt, hit Auto, find dark and light colors, get that eyedropper, find the darkest spot on her. It'll put it right there. And as you notice, you can see this is why you want to do it like this, because not everything is pure black. There's blue in it and it's way over here. I'll hit OK. We're going to snap to neutral colors. We're going to do that same with the height. The brightest part in this photo is probably over here. That helps expose it. See how it's like right there? That's what it was. This is what it is. And those little details matter, man. Matter, man. Okay. Yes. See, let me shut it off and turn it back on. Boom. Boom. Now it fits in this photo a lot better. It's more right. There's still some things that need to happen. I still feel like this needs to be darker. So we're going to bring that darkness down. Bring that highlight up. Bring that highlight down, actually. Yeah, we want to bring the highlight down. Dirt. And this side's like highlight area. This side's like dark. See, darkest to brightest. So when you're affecting this, it does a curve to that darkest to brightest. Eases it in there. See how this red's there? That means we have to build up something that's not there. We have to build up a sidewalk in some territory. But you can see that this brown and this brown is all over here. So that means we can build that right around over here and build the road right now. I am tired. And we need to blur this sucker out. So let's just do one image at a time and get everything perfect how it is. So I'm going to do that. So we're going to make sure we click right here. And we're going to clone tool that. Hit S on the keyboard. Hold Alt. This is the target area. Well, let's actually make this the target area. And we can line that up. Yep, shut the rasterization off. Huh. Oh, I'm painting on the wrong thing. Gotta be painting on the background. Let's start that off again. Just fill that up. Select that right there. Select it again. Select it again. Paint right there with that color. No one will even know. Except for you guys. Why is that like that? Now we got the water tower and her hand to replace. How long have we been going? I want to keep it there, but let's take out that part. I want to keep it there as a reference point. for when I throw this image in there. This image right there obviously is not the same perspective, but we're gonna make it. Whoa, I just realized that that got cut out. That's cool. Okay. How did we make it? First, let's cut it out. Bring it to the top, then we'll bring it back down. I'm gonna use the pen tool for this one because it needs some precision. P. Right click, make selection, to feather radius. We're gonna take that selection onto this thing, and we're going to layer mask it. Layer masking. Now we can warp and perspect it how we want, and we're gonna have to clone this pool a little longer. That's aight. All right. Carol Baskin killed her husband, whacked him. Control T. Boom. Boom, baby. Boom. I almost want to keep it at that perspective, but it's not right. And that is not right. Hold control. Push that one in. Push this one in. See, check out these perspective lines. Check out this perspective line. Check out this perspective line. This one, the one on that. They're all converging all the way to one point. So let's imagine these lines converged to that point. Let's actually just line it up with those lines. Have this one line up to that. That's almost the same. Boom, that's a lot more in perspective, baby. It's even more in perspective than the original one, I mean. So what we're going to do is we're going to select, we're going to take this selection, we're going to use the magic wand, why is it selecting more? And what is there? You got to blend that, you got to add the bottle. Crap, we got to add the bottle. Well, let's blend this. This isn't how I did this the original time either, by the way. I'm getting tired. But you guys get the gist. I don't need to finish this. I ain't even gonna finish this. Screw that. If you guys want to figure out how to add a Neil Patrick Harris left-hand bottle on her, then you figure it out. It's right here. I'll give you the files. It's right here. You just throw that right there. You reposition. So it looks like she's holding it. Put that on the top. Look, it looks like they're singing together. Singing in the rain. Look, he goes behind the pool because he's a gentleman. He goes behind the bottle because he's a gentleman. He's out. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much the tutorial. How to add photos and get more realistic, get creative, look at what objects you have and what you can do, and it's just fun. All right. I'm really upset because I really wish I would have screen recorded the original edit of this, but I didn't. So here's this. There's a lot more that I did to this, like added blur, as you can see in the photo that I'm showing right here. You wanted Gaussian blur every object that you did. The farther it is in the distance, the more Gaussian blur you need to have on it. So make it look right, make it blend in, make it feel right, and I hope you guys enjoy it. When we make more stuff like this, the next request I get, I swear I'm going to record it.